What's going on? All thanks for tuning in once again. Let's talk super middleweight boxing. Canelo Alvarez versus David Benavidez. This fight needs to happen. This needs to happen. There's a lot of rumors of him fighting Charlo and then Crawford. Both of those fights don't make sense at all. Crawford hasn't fought Spence in the rematch yet. Charlo been inactive for 2 years. Jamal was the one that really got a beating against Canelo, got dropped. Very boring fight, no fight in him. So, I don't think that people really want to see another Charlo against Canelo. This is just my opinion, this is just what I think anyway. With the Crawford fight, we haven't seen him fight, higher than 147 yet. So, he wants to go to 168 to fight Canelo. That's a big ask. That's a big ask. It's possible. It is possible that Crawford does fight Canelo. But I think in this case, he needs to fight Benavidez. Although the WBC is, dodgy. They're quite dodgy with how they make the fights. A lot of these fighters get a lot of slack with the WBC. Jamal Charlo inactive for 2 years, still holding the title. Tyson Fury, champion for 2 years, I believe, still hasn't had a mandatory fight in front of him. The WBC is a very very shady organization. But in this case, Benavidez is the interim champion and he is the mandatory challenger for Canelo. So I don't think that he can really avoid not fighting Benavidez this year because, like I said, in the past, if you're mandatory challenger, especially, if you've got a name like Benavidez, understand that Mike Tyson is at ringside, at this guy's fights. The public wants to see the fight. People want to see Benavidez versus Canelo next. When everyone around is talking, when everyone in the industry wants the fight to happen, it's going to happen. Especially, when they are mandatory, when they are interim champion. Because if Canelo doesn't fight him, it's going to be a duck, in my opinion. It's going to be a duck. So let's see what happens here. Jaime Munguia, he did come away with the win. He did surprise me by stopping Ryder. Ryder's a tough dude. Went the distance with Canelo. Just a great all-rounded, great hearts fighter. Just a great fighter in terms of having that fighting spirit and not giving up. So Munguia, he was impressive. He did show me a few new things. I thought that he done well, in the first half of the fight. Staying low, boxing low, and then also being able to, be patient, choose his moments, and go for the finish. I thought he was good in that aspect. I don't think he's ready for Canelo next. I think that he should fight Billy. I think they both have similar styles. They both like to come forward. Munguia, I think he, his weakness is on the back foot. When he did get tired against Ryder, he was on the back foot, and Ryder started catching him. He started landing some good punches on him. And we saw what Billy done in his last fight. He was very aggressive, front foot heavy, just basically breaking down his opponent. So both of these guys, I think that's the fight for them. If the Benavidez Canelo fight doesn't happen next, if it doesn't happen next, then first half of the year, then I believe that Benavidez should challenge Morale. I know it's a tough fight for him, but you know, you've got to stay busy, you've got to keep active, you've got to challenge the best. And I don't know if Canelo, you know, wants to fight Benavidez next. You know, he hasn't really said much. All he's said really is that, you know, he needs to sit down with Al Heyman, he needs to discuss what his plans are moving forward. You know, they've asked him about, you know, making the fight with Benavidez in September, and he said, let's see what happens. You know, there might be other fights. It might be a bigger fight if we wait a bit, you know, but I think that the fight needs to happen this year. You know, understand that Canelo, in my opinion, he's still great at what he does, but, you know, he is losing it a little bit. You know, that's just my opinion. You know, those later rounds, he does tend to tire out. Where Benavidez, he seems like he's getting better in every fight, you know. The way that he beat Demetrius Andrade, you know, that was very impressive. You know, the power, you know, being on the front foot, you know, doing what he done under the spotlight, you know, with Mike Tyson sitting at ringside, you know, doing what he does best. Living up to the hype of his name, the Mexican Monster, you know. He's definitely got the attention of the public. Understand he is now a pay-per-view star as well, you know. I believe that was his second fight at pay-per-view level. So, I mean, I don't see the points of waiting for this fight to happen, you know, later like Canelo's suggesting. With Benavidez being a pay-per-view star, with him being the mandatory fighter, with him being the interim champion, this fight needs to happen this year. And I mean, boxing, you know, at the moment we have all these big mega fights happening. You know, we got Fury against Usyk basically in a couple of weeks' time, you know, 2 to 3 weeks' time. You know, we got some big fights happening, one after the other. So the hype's definitely there for this mega fight. You know, Benavidez versus Canelo needs to happen next, or this year at least, you know, September for the latest. We know that Canelo does like to stay busy. He does like to have 2 to 3 fights a year. So I'm expecting some, you know, announcements to come soon in terms of who he's really going to be fighting. You know, don't look into these rumors too much, but in my opinion, David Benavidez versus Canelo will happen this year. That's my take anyway. Thanks for tuning in. Look forward to yours, and thanks for stopping by. Peace. Have a good day. Have a great weekend. And I'll catch you next time. Peace.